Hey everybody, this is Anthony with VR Game Rankings, and you are tuned in to the daily vlog series. This is episode 77, and it is Tuesday, January 16th, and this episode is going to be a little bit different than a lot of episodes that you've seen recently. And one of the reasons this episode is going to be a bit different is because I have to take care of a few house cleaning situations at the top of the show related to this YouTube channel and also related to the VR Game Rankings website. And it's going to be interesting because when this show first started, like if anybody has gone back, if anybody has watched the very first episode of this show, and I don't encourage anyone to do that if you haven't, because it's really weird. It's very different from what this show has evolved into. When I first started this, it's called the Daily Vlog Series. And what I thought I was going to do is I thought I was just going to get up on here and film myself for a half hour talking about how I'm trying to break into this VR gaming industry, talk about some of the VR games I'm playing and stuff like that. But it wasn't going to be a news show. Like it wasn't just 100% daily VR gaming news, which that's what it's turned into. And that's what it's going to be for the future. This is going to be a daily news show, but today's episode is going to be a little bit off the beaten trail. It's going to be a lot more similar to that very first episode, at least with a couple of these little house cleaning things I need to get into real quick. And so why don't we just go ahead and jump right into it? Okay, so the first story I have, now this is not a news story, but the first topic I have in regards to this YouTube channel and in regards to the VR Game Rankings website is I've got a problem. I've got a very serious problem. And so I'm going to explain it like this. So when I first started this YouTube channel was started with the idea that it would promote the website. The whole idea for me to start this channel was I wanted to make a video that was the top 20 Oculus Rift games by VR Game Rankings. And I wanted to make this video because I have a website that has a page that says the top 20 Oculus Rift games by VR Game Rankings. And so I thought that if I had a YouTube video that has the same exact title as the website, it would help with like Google search engines, just various search engines. And it would just kind of help out to have two things that are synergistic in that way. And I just thought it would help out, right? And I wanted to make a top 20 HTC Vive video and a top 20 PlayStation VR video. And then the whole idea for the daily vlog, all that is I tried to think, well, what's a way to make some really easy content that takes virtually no work whatsoever? And I thought, oh yeah, a daily vlog. All I got to do is turn on a camera and a microphone, talk for 30 minutes, tell everybody that I'm not doing any editing or anything special, and just post it. And that's that. And that's what the early episodes of this show were all about. And so if you go back to those early episodes, they probably seem really terrible in comparison to the more recent episodes. And it's because there was no editing whatsoever. There was no video screen. It wasn't really a daily VR news show. It started to morph into that, but in the beginning, it really wasn't that. And so it was a different thing. But the whole reason I started this channel was to promote the website. Okay, so where am I going with this? Where I'm going is I've started to fall in love with this daily news show. And so I love doing this. This is what I like doing. I want to wake up every day, Monday through Friday at least, and I want to look at all the latest VR news stories, and I want to do a daily VR news show. And it's fun, it's enjoyable. I do have to spend quite a bit of time on it. It's actually rather time consuming because I edit the audio and I edit the video, and it takes quite some time to do all of that. But I'm happy doing it. I love it. But the problem is the website. VR Game Rankings. I have to admit that in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I have done hardly anything with the VR Game Rankings website, and it's really a tragedy because I'm letting this VR Game Rankings website kind of die on the vine, and it doesn't deserve that. It deserves more than that. But I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place because I love doing this daily show. I feel like I'm born to do this. I feel like this is what I'm supposed to do. And so this is what I want to do. And when I think about VR Game Rankings, the website, I do want to work on it, but whenever I think about it, it's like, oh my God, there's so much work that needs to be done. It seems almost overwhelming to me that I just kind of freeze up and I don't do anything, because it's like, it just seems like too much. It seems like too much for me to take on. I'm doing this daily vlog. I'm doing this daily VR news, and this is my focus. And the VR website, the VR Game Rankings website, is a little too much for me, right? So here's what I'm asking the community out there is, I need a writer. I desperately need a video game journalist that eats, sleeps, drinks, and dreams nothing but VR gaming. I need somebody out there that owns an Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive or a PlayStation VR that plays VR games every single day, that checks Upload VR and Road to VR and all the various VR gaming websites every day. Somebody that goes to the Vive subreddit and the Oculus subreddit and the PSVR subreddit every day. I need somebody that eats, sleeps, and drinks VR gaming, but also has some talent as a writer, much more talented than me. I'm not a writer. I am not a writer. I need somebody that is a writer and somebody that is willing to go all in on something and try to make a career out of scratch. Now, what can I give this person? How can I compensate this person? Well, that's kind of the hard part right there, because I don't have any revenue coming in, so I don't have any money to hire somebody outright. Now, what I can offer the person is, number one, you're going to get some good experience working for a legitimate VR website, and you'll get some good experience writing for a website, and experience is a good thing, of course. Number two, we do get game codes. We do get free codes, not all the time, but we do get a lot of free codes. So you'll get a lot of free codes. You'll be able to review games and play games, and so that's good as well. And then number three, the only other thing I can really offer is I'm willing to offer a percentage of ownership in the VR Game Rankings LLC, the website company, an actual percentage in ownership. It's really all I can offer, so it's almost like it's a startup and we're trying to create something from scratch. But the way I look at it is, all the great gaming websites that have ever existed, they all started somewhere. They all started as these thoughts somewhere, and they slowly matured and became something much more than they started out as. And I think the same thing can happen with VR Game Rankings. And I think if I could get one guy or girl, one person to come in, one really talented writer to come in and start banging out daily stories and reviewing games and stuff, if somebody could do that and can kind of get the VR Game Rankings website back up to par, I can also chip in and help out. It won't seem as overwhelming. Right now, it just seems so overwhelming that I almost seem frozen about it. And so I'm working on this daily vlog thing, and I love this, but I just don't want VR Game Rankings to die. So I'm trying to reach out. I've asked in the past for volunteers. I'm not looking for a volunteer. I'm looking for a business partner, okay? I want a business partner, somebody that eats, sleeps, and drinks VR gaming, somebody that plays VR games every day and checks these subreddits, somebody that has writing skills, and somebody that has the available time. You actually are going to need to have at least probably 2 to 3 hours every single day, and some days you're going to need to be able to devote even more hours. But the hope is you're going to create a legitimate career for yourself. And if VR Game Rankings ever blows up in the future, you'll have a percentage of ownership in the company, and you can maybe make some good money. So that's kind of the thought process there. So I'm reaching out, hoping to try to get a games journalist for the website to save the website, because I'm really worried about the website right now. But I'm still focused on this daily vlog thing. Like, this is my deal. So I'm going to continue to do this, but I'm hoping to try to save the website. Okay, so that's the first little topic I had to get into about this YouTube channel and the VR Game Rankings website. Okay, so the next thing I need to talk about is monetization of this channel. And I'm just going to be honest about this and just talk openly about this so that everybody knows the deal and I'm not springing anything on anybody at the last second or anything like that. So as far as YouTube monetization, you guys may have noticed that when you watch these videos, there's no commercials, there's no advertising, there's no advertising going on. And the reason for this is not because I don't want to have any advertising. It's because I had a problem with Google AdSense, and it was related to the website. This was many, many months ago when I very first started doing these daily vlogs. And I was trying to get Google AdSense working on the website, which is something I still haven't done, if you can believe that. And it's a long story, right? But what happened was, in that process, one of the reasons that they gave me for the possibility of being turned down is that if I had that Google AdSense account connected to a YouTube account, that's one of the reasons it could be turned down. So what I did was, at the time, I deactivated that Google AdSense account from this YouTube account, and I was focused on trying to get the website going. Okay, so then fast forward a couple of months, I try to get Google AdSense turned back on for this YouTube account, and I can't. It's like I've been demonetized, and I can't get it back working. And when I try to go to Google to try to figure out what is going on here, they give me like 9 or 10 different reasons why it's not monetized. And I don't know what the reason is. They're giving me 9 different reasons. Why can't they just tell me what the very specific reason is? I haven't been able to get in touch with anybody from Google. So basically what I wanted to do is also reach out. Is there anybody out there that really understands Google AdSense? Has anybody like navigated the Google AdSense waters and the YouTube monetization waters? Maybe there's somebody out there that knows about this stuff that could shoot me an email. It's info@vrgamerankings.com. I would love to have some type of help. Here's the deal. I need to get this channel monetized, because if I can't, then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to create a new YouTube channel, and I'm going to have to try to migrate everybody over to this new channel. And I don't want to have to do that. I want to just stay right here. I want to keep everything the way it is. I just want to get my monetization turned back on. Now, it's not a lot of money. I mean, a lot of these videos, I might get like 1,000 views. That's $2. You know, I can't even buy a Big Mac for $2. But the way I look at it is every little $2 adds up, you know, and eventually those $2 could keep stacking on top of each other. And eventually I could buy myself a new video card and actually be able to play LA Noire and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So even though it's hardly any money at all, it's still money and it still adds up. And I need to try to take advantage of that. So if anybody knows anything about Google AdSense, if anybody is real familiar with this process and knows the ins and outs and maybe could help me with this, it would be absolutely huge. I'm definitely looking for any help in that regard. So you can hit me up at info@vrgamerankings.com. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to mention in regards to all of this house cleaning type stuff is you guys might have noticed in my YouTube descriptions just recently, I've been adding Amazon associate links. Okay. And so this is something that I've been doing. Again, I'm trying to monetize this in some way, because the bottom line is this: I'm trying to make this my career. I have to earn money at this, because if I don't earn any money at this, then I will return to my cubicle. Okay. I will return to my normal day job, which was sitting in a cubicle and doing like data entry type stuff and listening to podcasts all day. That's basically what I did all day in my regular job. I sat in a cubicle, I listened to video game podcasts, and I did my work and that was it. And so eventually I'm going to have to go back to that if I can't make any money off of this, so I have to try to somehow generate money off of this. And I'm not asking for any charity. I do not want any charity at all. What I'm saying here is, if you like this channel and if you ever buy anything from Amazon, you can help support the channel. All you have to do is click on any of those Amazon links that are in the YouTube description. And if you happen to buy toilet paper, if you happen to buy toothpaste, if you happen to buy a K-cup for your Keurig, coffee, if you happen to buy soda, candy, whatever, if you happen to buy an Initech USB card for your Oculus Rift, whatever it happens to be, if you click on one of the links that are in the YouTube description and you happen to go buy something, VR Game Rankings, the channel, we get a tiny kickback for that. And again, it's one of these things where every little tiny bit helps, because I want to continue to do this forever. Really, I honestly believe that VR and AR is going nowhere. It is going to be here for the next 100 years or whatever, right? And so if I wanted to do this show for the next 20 years, I should be able to do this show because the availability is going to be there. But I have to make some amount of money to be able to pay bills. Otherwise, I can't do this show, because what'll happen is I'll have to go back to my regular job and work regular 8-hour days. And when I come home from that regular job, I'm not going to be able to spend the time that I'm spending on this show. It's just not going to work. And so basically this daily vlog as we know it will no longer exist if I'm not able to monetize this in some way. So I'm not trying to be like greedy or anything, or like ask for lots of money or anything like that. I just want to try to generate a little income off this and make it happen. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not a big deal. If this channel is never able to grow enough where I could actually make some money off of it, and if VR Game Rankings, the website, is never able to grow and all of that, that's fine. I gave it the college try. I gave it my best attempt. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I want to give it a legitimate attempt. So anyway, that's all the house cleaning stuff. We are pretty far into the program. We don't have a lot of time left, but I do want to cover just a couple of quick news stories before I bounce out of here. Okay, so the first regular news story that I have is Oculus is now selling individual controllers. Yeah, so let's say you have an Oculus Rift and you're no longer in the warranty period. Let's say you bought it a long time ago, your warranty has expired, something has gone wrong with one of your Oculus Rift controllers. What are you going to do? Well, the only option up until recently was you would have to buy a package for $99 that included the two controllers, the right and left controller, and also a sensor, an additional sensor. And so this package is $99. And so a lot of people have said, well, hey, it would be nice if I could buy an individual controller. What if just one of my controller breaks? I just need one controller. I don't want to buy this whole package. I don't need another sensor. I don't want to spend $99. Well, Oculus is helping people out a little bit, okay? So for $69, you can get an individual controller. So you can save yourself $30 and you can get yourself a right controller or a left controller and not have to spend $99. Now, the bottom line here, though, is honestly, you're better off buying the full package. You get an extra controller, you get the other controller as a backup, you get another sensor, you could sell it off to somebody else, or you could possibly add the sensor to your current setup and bump it up to 3 sensors or 4 sensors. And so I think it's probably better to pay the extra $30 and get the full package. If the controller was $49.99 instead of $69, that would be a little bit different. But it's an option. They are providing options, so it's a little bit pricey. But I don't want to go too hard on Oculus because honestly, their replacement part prices are way the hell better than HTC Vive for the most part. So I'm not going to go too crazy on that. Okay. Next story we have is Nintendo. So this story goes to the general manager for Nintendo France was making some comments to a French publication, and I believe VR and Fun picked up this story, and the comments were interesting because it's a little bit of a different take from Nintendo. If this is their inside internal policy that they have towards virtual reality, it's a little bit different than it was. So what this guy said, I'm talking about Philippe Lavaux, okay, Philippe Lavaux, and I might be mispronouncing this guy's name. This is the Nintendo France general manager. What he said in an interview with a French publication, he said, if you look at VR headsets, I doubt they can appeal to the mainstream. So that's one thing he said. And then he also said, consumers are not patient with entertainment if you aren't able to offer them a complete solution. So he's basically saying here, look, I don't know that VR is ever going to go mainstream, is basically what he's saying. And it's kind of, these comments are kind of interesting from the standpoint that we remember that Nintendo's new president, Tatsumi Kimishima, he talked about a year ago, he talked about that Nintendo is doing some research. They're doing some experiments with VR. They're looking into VR. They're not ruling out VR. And what he said was, if they can figure out how to make it comfortable for people playing long hours of VR, if they could figure out a way to make that comfortable for people to play long hours, that Nintendo would provide VR at some point in a future product. They would provide it, that they weren't against VR. But now we get these new comments where if you look at VR headsets, I doubt they can appeal to the mainstream. So kind of a different take there. So if anybody's waiting for Nintendo to jump on the VR bandwagon, we might be waiting a little bit longer. Now, my take with this long term, though, is I think we're eventually going to get to the point where it's absolutely obvious that VR and AR cannot be stopped, and Nintendo's going to have to deal with this. Now, there's no rush because I don't think they're going to be forced to deal with this for probably another 2 or 3 years. So if they want to continue to stay anti-VR, I don't think they have any problems doing that. They can stay anti-VR and stay that way for a couple of years, because it's not going to be a make or break situation that quickly. But eventually, I think they're going to have to deal with it, and they're going to have to back off of this. And whether it's VR or AR, eventually they are going to have to change their tune. Okay, another quick little story I have, actually, this will be the last story for this episode, is an HTC representative, Raymond Pao, was talking to Japanese VR website Mogura VR. Okay, so this Japanese website Mogura VR had an interview with Raymond Pao from HTC, and he made a comment about Knuckles. Okay, so this interview was in Japanese, but it's been translated with Google Translator. And apparently, I'll go ahead and read the quote that this guy said about Knuckles. He said, I think the Knuckles controller is still in its very early stage of design. Since we cannot see the schedule of commercialization yet, we cannot say anything at the moment. So, there's not much here. There's really not much here. Basically, he's just saying, look, the Knuckles controller is still at a very early stage in its design. We have no idea when this thing is going to be brought to market. And so he's kind of commenting on that. So not much here, because honestly, Valve is going to keep things internal, and they're not going to reveal anything until they feel they absolutely have to. There's no reason for them to do that. So this is a guy that works for HTC. He's probably heard a little bit about Knuckles behind the scenes, but probably doesn't have that much information. And I honestly don't know that I would put a lot of weight into this comment, although it does appear to be rather obvious that Valve is taking their sweet time when it comes to Knuckles. And my take on this whole thing is I go back to this thought process I had earlier, where I really wish Valve kept Knuckles 100% a secret where no one knew anything about Knuckles. Like, imagine if right now at this time we knew nothing about Knuckles, and then say come around GDC 2018, maybe we find out about Knuckles then, and then that, I think it would have been a better situation. They could have kept all this stuff secret. They could have sent all these prototypes to all these different developers and had them sign non-disclosure agreements and just said, look, all of this needs to be top secret. But they didn't. And so we found out all this stuff about Knuckles, all these different developers showing all this cool Knuckles stuff. And this is months and months and months ago. And some of us thought Knuckles was going to come out last Christmas. And who knows when Knuckles is going to come out. So I kind of feel like Valve should have kept this thing a little bit more secret. And it's unfortunate that it came out and became obvious. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much going to go ahead and wrap it up. This has been episode 77 of the Daily Vlog series for January 16th. Once again, I apologize for, the non-VR gaming stuff at the top of this show. It's just I'm looking for some help. Would love a writer, would love a games journalist to come aboard. And I'm also looking for somebody that knows something about Google AdSense. And I just want to let you guys know about this Amazon Associates thing. I do want to make it clear too, in regards to all of this, like if we do ever get sponsorship or any of this type of stuff, it is not going to change my feelings about any of these products in any way, shape, or form. I will not be bought. That, I am going to give you guys the straight, honest take on everything, regardless of any kind of sponsorships or any kind of Amazon associate things or anything really. I am going to give you the straight up real deal takes on all this stuff. And I'm going to be as honest as I possibly can be. And that is my word to you guys. And if things don't work out, they don't work out. That's not a big deal. I am going to try to stay as honest and straight up as I possibly can be. I think I've been that way. I think if you look at my past history with these vlogs, I've been very honest, very straight up, and I have no plans to ever change that. And that's what this show is all about, is me bringing you honest, straight up takes and just being completely real about that. And I absolutely plan to continue this into the long-term future. So anyway, guys, that will wrap it up for episode 77 of our daily vlog series for Tuesday, January 16th. And I will see everybody tomorrow on Wednesday. Take it easy. Later.